Good morning, everyone. How are you? All good? All good? How nice to see the room so plenty, so full. So welcome to the training AI in the fashion and luxury industry. Today we have the pleasure to have a super lineup of speakers and trainers to give us some hints and insights about AI application in those industries. So thank you for being here. Here the lineup, we're going to have speakers from academia, from VF, from Philip Klein, and from Bestseller. Before starting, I would love to give you some information about Dagora. Who knows Dagora? Raise your hands. Almost everyone. Quite surprised, but not so much. So what we are a membership-based community that try to inspire innovation, collaboration in the lifestyle industry. How we do that? We run many events and activities throughout the year covering all the lifestyle industry. So we dive into fashion, food and beverage, design, luxury, travel, and beauty industry. In our hub, where you find yourself today, we run many events and we try to get together many stakeholders, so brands, retailers, academia, investors, and service providers. Our community today counts up to more than 120 members here, including brand manufacturers, service providers, investors, academia, institutions, and retailers. To give you some of them, those are some of the brands that are nowadays members of our community. So in fashion and sportswear, for example, we have Hugo Boss, Gas, Seven for All Mankind, Roberto Cavalli. Going to the travel with MSC, design and furniture with Berto, food and beverage. Everyone knows Heineken for sure. And beauty with Mavics and Clinique La Prairie. We have also one slide is missing. As I was saying, we operate many events across all Switzerland. Now to dive deeper, I have the pleasure to hand over the word to my colleague and friend Matteo Bertussi, who is speaker and innovation manager here in Dagora.
Thank you, Michela. I don't know if this works. Let's see. Okay. So thanks also on my side for being here. I just want to talk a little bit about the events we run across the year and across Switzerland, most importantly. So we have many events, as you see. They are mapped there on Switzerland map. And we try to be everywhere in Switzerland. So we try to have, of course, the core of activity as the innovation hub is here in Lugano. We have most of the activities we run here in Lugano. But we do also have main activities in Zurich and in Lausanne and in the Swiss Romand in general. So coming up shortly, actually in October, we have the Luxury Summit 2025. So we have around more than 350 attendees, more than 160 brands on average across the years, and more than 20 speakers. So you guessed it right. One of the most important things for the events we run are the speakers. We are always on the outlook for great speakers, and then this is basically why I'm giving out this speech today. So to let you know that we are on the outlook for great speakers, and if you know anybody, if you're interested, please reach out. We're happy to consider people and great managers to be our speakers. Here are some of the speakers we have at the Luxury this year. We have Ivusi, so Karina from Ivusi. We have Michela from Dodds. We have Sylvie from Value Retail and Eric from Ademapier. So very focused on luxury, but also on sustainability this year, which is a key topic for us as well. Going forward, the next big event coming up shortly, it's in Zurich in collaboration with Google. We do this event at their headquarters in Europa Day. Here as well is pretty big event more than 250 managers involved there. And as well, here we have some great speakers. For example, Dario from Gas, Antonio from Fossils, Daniel from Interdiscount. We have the CEO of Aldi, Daniel from Swisscom, and Kerstin from MediaMarkt. And lastly, this year it already happened. It's the Lifestyle Innovation Day. It's the biggest event we run. More than 800 managers involved. And we are currently on the outlook for the speakers of 2026 already. We already have some confirmed. We keep them secret for now, but will be shortly on the landing page of the event. So I encourage you to check it out on our website and contact me if you have any idea on great speakers. Super happy to check them out. All right. So here are some of the speakers we had at at the Lifestyle Innovation Day 2025. So this year, you can see some of them here. And yeah, so you have an idea of the speakers we could be on the outlook for. All right, I give back the, the word to Michele. Thank you so much.
So, why is important? It's working. It's working. So, why is important to briefly present you the Innovation Booster Fashion and Lifestyle program? This training is part of the Innovation Booster Fashion and Lifestyle program, and in collaboration with Agora, which is the leading house of the program, we try to operate events in the lifestyle industry. The Innovation Booster is a funding instrument backed by InnoSwiss, which is the Swiss Federal Agency for Innovation. Who knows InnoSwiss? Good. What we do, we try to enable the matchmaking between academia, so the research side, and the business side. So every innovation-based project that a startup, corporate, scale-up might have, we try to matchmake them with the knowledge and the competences from academia. So we leverage our network on the business side, but also our network on the academia side. So we reach out to the local university, for example, USI and SUPSI, but we also reach out to university in Lausanne, in Geneva, in Zurich, for example. So we run 2 competitions, let's call them like that, across the year. One already gone actually was about innovation and technology. We gathered almost 30 projects, and we funded 5 of them with 28K. The funds are meant to enhance and launch a pilot project or a feasibility study or a market assessment. And we actually have, one. Let's do the old style way. So we actually have our second challenge open nowadays, which is about sustainability. I see some of the members of the innovation teams here with us today. Raise your hands. Elisa? Raise your hands, Luca, as well. Here we go. And we are having on September 30th the co-creation workshop, and then they will attend also the pitch day. Getting to the heart of the training, I have the pleasure to announce the first speaker, Marco, which will give us some hints about the application of AI in the industry. So please, a round of applause to welcome him.
Hello everybody. Okay, so I speak English even though I guess we all speak Italian, right? No. Okay, so where am I? I'm, well, let me check. Okay. I have 2 jobs, of course, otherwise you get bored. And I work as a scientific director of IZIA, which is an institute for research in AI here in Lugano. actually founded a long time ago in '88. So we are 150 researchers. I guess I say something in the next slide. Okay, oh no, it was this slide. Actually, okay, so we are a lot of researchers and professors, PhD students, and so. And okay, what we do, we try to find money just to survive, and you know, because we have like to find 9 million per year, more or less, yeah, for our budget. So we do that through projects, and you know, getting in contact with companies and you know, Swiss projects and all of that. We teach, we do papers, we do algorithms, and yeah, we have spinned off a number of startups, among which there is, well, actually, yeah, before going to that, you know, we are pretty famous in a sense, you know, because we have done this. If you do data science, there is this algorithm which is called LSTM, you know, and that was done at ITIA, long short-term memory. It's a neural network that has become very popular. Everybody knows that in the world. And you know, and maybe you know DeepMind, that is the AI branch of Google that has 4,000 researchers in London, and it has been co-founded by Shane Legg, that was our PhD student here in Manno, and then eventually went there and sold the company for $500 million in 2014. Okay, so this is ITIA, and this is Stead Artificially, because this is my second work. I'm chief scientist of this company, which is just walking distance 3 minutes from here. And here we do, you know, applications of AI, so we are more applied, of course, than ITIA. And we work with many companies like industries, in the industry, banks, of course, insurances, you know, whatever. You know, we do AI full spectrum, so everything, computer vision, LLMs, and so on and so forth. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit about what is AI. You know, what is AI? AI is a big block. You know, artificial intelligence. You can do a number of things. And at the beginning, it was like, you know, Deep Blue, for example, the first chess program that was beating the world champion at that time, 99, I think, or 98. And that was not the AI that we know today, in the sense that it was mostly a smart way of searching through the solutions of the game, which has nothing to do with machine learning, basically, but it was still AI. But then, you know, after a while, you know, you can find machine learning, which is a sub-block of artificial intelligence in which we try to learn from data, basically. So instead of telling ourselves what to do to the computer, you just see the data and try to learn intelligent behavior from the data. And more recently, there is deep learning, which basically exploded in 2012, even though the algorithms were done, I don't know, for instance, LSTM was done in 97. It was a paper in 97 and then became famous in 2015. And deep learning is basically neural networks that are a specialized version of machine learning, things like this, that you know, are the brightest part of AI at this moment. You know? So what really is the engine behind LLMs, you know, whatever you see that is very interesting at this time, Gen AI, diffusion models, images, films, whatever. So there are things like this. This is neural network. Now it's a graph basically, and you represent it in a computer. Where the idea is that let's try to replicate the way a brain works, right? So you put the neurons, you put synapses connecting the neurons, and the idea is that this is all software, it's not physical. And then what do you do? For instance, you input an image of a dog bit by bit, so a very, very low level format, just every bit a neuron. And then this, let's say, provokes some propagation of signals, so the neurons fire, go to the next layer, and some of the other neurons fire, and then in the end you get one of the last neurons, and that are associated with labels, like a cat, dog, and so on and so forth. But okay, but maybe you put inside the dog, and then the network says cat, and then what you do, you tell the network, now look, it is a dog, and then the network basically back propagates this error, adjusting the weight, because these synapses have a more or less strong connection between neurons, so you adjust the strength of the synapses, basically these are numbers, in such a way that when you input a cat, you get a cat, when you input a dog, you get a dog. So, but you know, this is a training, so you have to repeat it many times, because many times this will fail, and every time you tell, no, look, it is not a dog, it is a sheep, and so on and so forth. You do it 1,000,000 times, and then it matches correctly what you input. This is nice because it is not really memorizing, the information or the information that you put in input. It's more like learning because it in some way abstracts the idea of the dog or the cat. It's not really that it memorizes things. So okay, I don't want to go too technical, but the idea is that every layer does an abstraction. So at the beginning there are bits. Then the first layer maybe does segmentation, so finds segments. So this will fire when defining a segment, for instance. This will put segments together and represent the shapes like a rectangle, whatever. And they fire when you see something like that. Then this puts together this rectangle, circles, and this becomes similar to an animal, and eventually you get a cat and dog and so on and so forth. Very similar to what we do in our brain. So we have a layer or a hierarchical level of representation, and then the more layers we have, the more abstract the concept you can represent. So there is this joke that says that we have a neuron that spikes when we see Bart Simpson. Most probably it is like that, right? Maybe not only one neuron, but more than one. Okay, so these are neural networks, and these are the basis of large language models. A large language model is just a big neural network. And in 2016, DeepMind put forward a paper in Science, I think, that added this thing. So you see a neural network now that is learning to play this game, breaks through. And so you have to break the wall, of course. And the neural network knows nothing at the beginning, and just really nothing. Doesn't know the rules of the game, doesn't know anything. And it doesn't even know that it is the bar, there is a ball. The only thing that it sees is the screen, that it knows that it has to maximize the points just by pressing these two buttons, left and right. And so if you make the network play again and again and again, it learns. And then eventually, after 600 games, it plays more or less like a kid. That was one of the first things to show that neural networks are very good at learning, even in with very scarce information at the beginning, because it didn't know anything, basically, not even the rules of the game. Okay, so this was in 2016, but of course, 2025, then we have improved a lot. This was published in Nature, showing that neural networks could solve a lot of games of the 70s, actually, just by watching the screen. Yeah, so, well, okay, this is just a bit of history of AI, but let's say that most important perhaps date is 1956, because there was this Dartmouth conference in the States where they really coined the term artificial intelligence for the first time. And they had big plans. They thought that 4 years afterwards we could solve all the problems, like in natural language processing and so on. It took a bit more, like 60 years. But in between, we did algorithms. We started beating the first world champion, what I was saying before, 97, Deep Blue. Then AlphaGo, was beating the world champion of Go, which is this very complicated, board game used in Asia. Actually, this was sparking the interest in Asia for AI. So after the computer, after DeepMind was beating the world champion of Go, this Korean man, in 2016, then they got crazy, in China and so, because this was really a game that it's super complicated. It was considered that, the symbol of human games that only people can solve. And then a number of things, but what happened in particular was that in 2012, more or less, AI exploded, and AI exploded because we had a lot of computational power, because we started using GPUs, so graphical processing units, instead of CPUs, the central computing unit of a computer. So, NVIDIA is producing these GPUs. NVIDIA now is valued, I don't know what, 3 trillions, what is that, and the stock market. And they were producing graphical cards to play video games, but at some point, basically it is a computer to show as fast as possible graphics in the computer. At some point, people realized that we could use this graphical card instead for training neural networks, for learning neural networks. Because the neural networks are very heavy to learn, and that depends also on the number of layers that they have. Remember, the previous one had like 4 layers or so. The more layers, the much more complicated to train a neural network in computational time. And this is the origin also of this terminology, deep learning. Deep means that the many layers. So it has a very precise technical meaning. When you hear deep learning, this means I'm using a neural network with many layers. Because the more layers you have, the more sophisticated are the problems that you can solve. Okay, so 2012, we had a lot of computational power, a lot of data over the internet, and then we started producing nice results that you can see all over, again, now, the world. Okay, and then, as I was saying, ChatGPT is just a neural network. So the point is that the original ChatGPT, had 175 billion parameters, synapses. Okay, so it's a neural network with this many synapses and many layers. So you can learn a lot of things, and it's very hard to train. It costed like $8 million to train overall, of which most of it was compute, but there was also like 1 million of electricity, just that. And then GPT-4 costed like $200 million. GPT-5, we don't know. It costed a lot. Okay, and then with ChatGPT, what do? You do things like this. For instance, you can plug it into an autonomous driving car, and you can talk to your car. No, you ask, what are the 3 top hazards that you see, and the car replies, I'm paying attention to the cyclist in front of me, the traffic light, the pedestrian. Why? And the car replies, and then why do you stop? Because there is a traffic light red. So this is just ChatGPT plugged into an autonomous driving car. So you can talk to your car, and as I say, every time you will be talking soon to your washing machine, fridge, and whatever, right? Because it is so easy not to plug this into everything and interact in a very natural way with it. So LLMs are a special big neural network that is very useful, but it has also problems. So these are LLMs that have been produced recently, and so not just ChatGPT, these are a few others. So there's a kind of zoo of LLMs, GPT models around. This stops up to 2014, actually, so 2015, we have many more. So, the guys that work with these things have basically to, spend a lot of time reading literature and what are the new algorithms. So the people that are in my company, these young guys, young engineers, are reading a lot just to catch up, with all these innovations that come out every week, basically, because there's so many. Yeah, okay, I don't know if you're interested in that, but the main conference in the States in AI is AAAI, Association of American, people doing AI. In the past it had like, 500 submissions. Now it has 30,000 submissions. So, it's impossible. I mean, it's a mess, to review all these papers to check if they are correct or not. So it is changing everything because everybody is just doing AI at this time. Okay, but the point is that you shouldn't trust LLMs. You should not trust ChatGPT. Remember, because it can be a mess. So, just to make to make the point, this was in Twitter. That this woman said, ChatGPT asked if I wanted a diagram of what is going on inside my belly. Okay, you can check it by yourself, and this is not this is not, let's say, strange that it is producing these mistakes, because the question is that these systems are working, I don't know how to say, they don't know the world, right? They know the text. So the problem is that we have confused, as this guy says, which was a very nice article in the Corriere della Sera, actually by a professor of AI, we have confused a cognitive revolution with a linguistic technology. Okay, so ChatGPT is a linguistic technology. They are not intelligent. They are not cognitively intelligent. They look like that, but they are not. And the reason is that they just predict, next word, next phrase, and they have become very good at predicting. But if you want to build, I don't know, whatever, a big building, a skyscraper, whatever, you need to know the structure of things, how to put things together so that it stays up, right? You cannot just say, okay, well, I've seen many skyscrapers here and there, well, let's put a little bit of here, of this thing that I saw, a little bit here, and so, and then you get things like this, right? Because it works by association, by probability in a sense. It doesn't know the structure of things. It doesn't know how a body works. It doesn't know how a car works. It has just seen many cars, and then you ask, draw a new car, and it makes something that is more or less a car, but then if you look into the details, it makes a number of things wrong, because it doesn't know how it works. So the point is, these things are not reliable, and reliability is key to make these things work, in a job, because all of us, I think, we try to be reliable in our work. If we aren't, things are not going so nicely. And so, it is good if you want to be creative in a sense, let's try to write a novel, let's try to write a song, let's try to do and this and that. But not if, okay, help me to do this surgery, okay? But I saw actually a bunch of crazy guys recently that I proposed to have ChatGPT in a surgery room, driving the robot to. That is crazy, right? Because it's not reliable. You cannot just trust this guy. So they don't understand. That is the point. So we should have very clear in mind that they don't understand. They're not intelligent. Okay, they talk nicely. But so nicely that they convince you about things that are totally wrong. Okay, so that is the point. So what is the correct usage of these things? The use is just to interact through them with complex systems. So you want to do integrals, you have to use, I don't know, MATLAB, Mathematica. Okay, but you don't want to know the language of MATLAB and Mathematica. You just speak to ChatGPT and say, I want to do this integral, and he translates this into the language of MATLAB and Mathematica does the integral, gives back the result, and you know the correct result. If you ask this guy to do the integral, he will make it wrong. If you ask also to do 1 + 1, sometimes he makes it wrong, If you ask to count how many vowels there are in a word, it makes wrong. So it makes a number of mistakes. And so it's important to know that they are not reliable, okay? And so it's a tool, we have to be on top of it, not just subjugated by it. And the question is also that it is very easy to be subjugated because they convince us, they manipulate us. It's very easy to be manipulated. They're more convincing to us than other people. Okay, and then I'm really late on time, but okay, and then you listen to these guys that, Anthropic, and especially Sam Altman, OpenAI, that tell you they're coming to replace us and so on. So, you saw Sam Altman say, the GPT-5 is on the level of PhD student. The day after, they showed it was wrong, lots of things. And now also there is the danger that there is a bubble in the stock market, because they're investing trillions in AI, but people are starting to realize that they are not AGI, they are not artificial general intelligence at all. They are nice ways to talk to a computer in a sense. And also, why do they say so, Anthropic and OpenAI? Because they do a lot of money, right? Anthropic, I think, is valued like, 60 billions by now. Yeah, because they just convince investors that this is the new gold mine. And then they have to keep on telling this narrative, this story, right? But the truth is that it's very different, it's a very nice tool, but we have to control it, we have to be very careful, and so on. So we need more people than before probably to control that these guys don't make a mess, right? Yeah, and this is a recent report by MIT, very recent. You just do the pilot and then you do nothing else. So in my company, I have the opposite. I have to say, I have the opposite thing. We do, but that is because we have very good people. It's not that we do just ChatGPT or Copilot. We have very good people that can use them in a proper way. But otherwise, if you trust them, this is what you get. Okay, I like this article on The Economist very recently that is taken up from a report from scientists. They say, why don't we consider that as a normal technology, as a, train arrived, a light arrived, okay, AI is arriving. But we don't need to overhype it, artificial general intelligence and so on and so forth. And also, why using OpenAI when you can use a small model that is faster, more efficient, that costs nothing, stays on premises, at home, instead of sending your data to OpenAI and so on and so forth. So this is also something that I think it will be a new trend now. If you want to do agentic AI in particular, very often you need to be very quick. And OpenAI is not that quick. So it replies maybe in 10 seconds, 7 seconds, and the user won't like it, so you have to have 1 second for an answer. No? Okay, we have made many other applications at Tizia, and my point here, sorry, I'm just making a Yes, I just wanted to say that what to go for, I think is boring AI, right? Let's down hype AI, and we do AI, which is a normal technology. So by a normal technology, you can do a number of things. We have done energy trading, we have done non-performing loans, time series analysis, Atizia, and we have a very long collaboration with UBS, started in 2018, still ongoing. And with UBS, we have done a number of things, finance, we have used things to improve LLMs, we do something to control LLMs, because UBS has something called the risk group control. They cannot just deliver software without having somebody that states that the software is running as stated. Okay, and then with LLMs it is very difficult, and then we are trying to develop methods to control the LLM in order not to say very stupid things. I'm almost done. We have done also some work with Hugo Boss in the past, just to try to recreate a supply chain optimization, the supply chain in order to reduce the emissions, CO2. So you choose how much CO2 you want to produce, and then it decides all the supply chain where you start. Start with the ships, the painting, and this and that. And more recently, we have. This is actually just a thesis, master's thesis for the prediction of fabric consumption, always with Hugo Boss. So I'm done, and key takeaways are these for me. AI is here, AI we stay here. Remember, maybe the oldest among you, like me, you remember the 80s, and for many reasons, but in particular because computers arrived. And then, people didn't like them, but then eventually they had to use it. So AI is like that. So you might not like it, but you will have to use it, so better start learning something. Also because, it will stay, and in particular, AI will not replace you soon, but somebody else that uses AI might. Okay, so you'd better learn a little bit of AI. It doesn't take much, actually, just some introductory course, just to understand the main things. For the company, I think in order to stay competitive, you have to introduce AI. There is nothing else, to reduce costs, to improve revenues, and so on and so forth. And, it is doable right now with or without ChatGPT, because if you have good engineers, they will put AI in the right place, but we need your help, of course. For instance, at UBS, we have a counterpart, a woman, Stefania, that knows AI is super good, knows a lot of the processes of UBS, puts us in contact with all the units, business units, and so on. So without her, we would not be able to do AI at UBS. We need somebody internal at the company that works with us, is enthusiastic, finds the people, put us in contact, and so on and so forth. And and that's it basically. So in order to do AI, I think there are three players, which are the big players that gives you Copilot, only them can give it, because can give it to you because it costs so much to the other guys. Academia, to look ahead a couple of years, and artificial intelligence companies that are more practical than academia and help you to automatize the processes. And that's it. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. We do actually have time for a couple of questions. Any question from the room? Here you go.
You asked, you said something about the correct use of AI, and I didn't understand how we could use the correct use of AI.
There are many ways. If you don't have much money, which I guess, of course, you have a lot of money. If you don't have much money, you can go to ITIA, which is a public entity, a research institute, and try to make a project together, financed by the Confederation. This is very possible. Usually, you get an advanced prototype. Then eventually, it's up to you to industrialize, to turn in, and to make it scale, and so on and so forth. So if you don't do properly the second step, it dies there. But the prototype works usually, so it's better then to industrialize it. If you have a bit more money, or you go to an AI company, there is mine, there are many others, and try to work out a project together from beginning to end. Usually, that you know the costs, you know the times, you have maintenance. These things work. Most likely, the difficulty is not the algorithms; it's the people, as usual. People that block you, people that don't want AI. You know, there is always a guy in the table that tries to block, but now I recognize them very quickly. You know, so I can also block them. So that is the difficulty, as usual, is to deal with people. No, all the rest is super easy. You know, it's easy to do AI. You take good people, good engineers that do good work. And that's it. You know, and then you have the politics and so are difficult. If you just want to instead use a Copilot, that's fine, but it has its limits, but at the same time it helps you, like ChatGPT, to do a number of things. So I would start small if you don't want to take risks. You know, just a tiny concrete thing to show that AI is working on that. Yeah.
Ciao. I have one question that I'd like to see how you usually answer. What is your POV on this? There is a lot around sustainability on AI. What is your position on that?
You mean for the energy consumption?
Yes,
so,
generally speaking.
Oh, well, it's consuming a lot of energy, and I don't think there is much to do to it, in the sense that...
how do you see this evolving?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I hope that they transition to green energy, actually, as Google is actually trying to do. Many others are trying to do. Okay, they are also trying to build nuclear plants only for them, but which is green energy, actually, right? Nuclear power plants. They explode from time to time, but you know, it consumes a lot of energy. In particular, the problem are neural networks, because they are very, very energy, consumption. But the other models are not so heavy, actually. So it's mostly neural network, ChatGPT, all these things. As long as we continue with that, it's hard to say, how to reduce it. I mean, it's not clear. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Still working? Okay, so thank you, Marco. It's now time to move to the second speaker, who is Filippo Chiari from VF.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Still some more AI in the menu for today. Let's move on. Okay. You guys let me know when I... Okay. In the meantime, let me introduce VF. Actually, let me introduce myself. I'm Filippo. I work at VF. I lead AI at VF and data science. Few things about me. I've been in fashion 20 years. I've been in technology 20 years. I've been 5 years in digital and the last 15 years in data science, then AI, and now Gen AI. Okay. And many companies, VF carrying went up towards, a lot of stuff around fashion. VF, probably many of you knows VF, portfolio of brands. Actually, this slide has to change because we just sold Dickies yesterday, but I didn't have time to update the slide. So portfolio of brands, large organizations, 125 years. We have a lot of associate, headquarter in Denver, in US, and in EMEA here in Stabio, nearby. AI, Marco, I'm sorry for what you're gonna listen now, but to understand in the fashion space how to, where to play and how to win in AI, I would like first to spend a couple of minutes in understanding what type of AI is, okay, organization in fashion can work on. The first one is what we call decision intelligence, and this we define this more as what is called the traditional machine learning, we learn from the past to predict the futures, and those use cases are the one related to forecasting, pricing, and things like that. Then we have the generative AI, which is really the revolution of the last 3 years. Why it's so disruptive? Because it really crack the human operating system by mimicking human creativity, right? In the space of images, text, music. And so those, as Marco said before, ChatGPT, Midjourney, those are the guys who are really redefining a little bit the rule of the game across industry and very much in fashion as well. The third one is agentic AI. Who doesn't know what agentic means? So, okay. The best way for me to explain what agentic is the moment you can book a flight in with ChatGPT, you're basically having AI able to move in a decision space, sequencing action with contextual awareness. Okay, in this moment in time, you are creating same intelligence system, and those intelligence systems are called agents. And so now that we have defined where to play, okay, from AI, I think we also need to understand what is the competitive positioning of AI into the organizations, because we come from a place where AI was largely an ROI-driven exercise. Okay, but I think that today the space of AI is much broader. And the way I'd like to position the competitive advantage of AI is in three parts. One, three different types of competitive position. The first one is how do we defend our competitive positioning with AI by basically bringing the entire organization leveraging AI. There is a place to start with AI with everyone, and this is one of the key messages I want to leave you with today. And for me, the KPI is the return on the employee. How do you move the entire organization with AI for competitive parity? The second one is how do we extend our competitive positioning as an organization with AI? And here is how do we basically start doing things that we have always been doing in the same way, a little bit better, just differently, because AI enable reshaping processes for operational efficiency. And here, there is clearly a lot going on, and there is a lot where every organization can play. And the last one is what I call up-end competitive positioning. How AI is transforming the rules of the game of our industry. In my opinion, is in the space of creativity. Creativity is at the core of fashion. Creativity is at the core of how we engage with our customer and consumer, and AI is redefining those rules, both in terms of creating new engagement model, but also by unleashing completely new trajectory from a creativity standpoint. And here, clearly, there is also a different risk and cost associated by those different type of competitive positioning. If you want to play there, you need to spend more, but potentially the ROI is clearly much higher in the future. And this is probably also in terms of survival game. Where to work? Here I'm just giving you an overload of use cases, an area where you can start playing in AI. And again, to me, what are the key two messages that I would like to leave you with? One is differently, I agree with you, Marco. There is an hype of AI, but given the cost of change in the organization, actually, I still believe that AI is underhyped. Okay, so we will never talk enough about AI in this moment in time in organization. This is the first message. The second is there is a place to start with AI for everyone in the organization. Because today, AI is largely democratizing a lot of activities. So in the first one, from define competitive positioning, how AI will define how we consume information, how will change all the reporting and the way we access to insights and information. Insights, there are a lot of companies now that are creating agents that are able to create what we used to call the market surveys. Okay. Agentic will unleash endless potential in creating personas, okay, that will understand the brands, And you can deploy those agents in the market and get a lot of insights from your customer base. Code development. This is one of the clear use cases from whomever has in-house development activities, agentic, and AI is clearly boosting. General purpose agentic force, Copilot. Don't be afraid to release Copilot ChatGPT across the organization. The benefit will outweigh the risk, no matter what. So try to create those champions in your functions that can work with Copilot, ChatGPT, create small agents, localized agents, create a distributed agentic release in the organization. Extend. Some of the things actually, generative AI just boosted activities where AI were already actually playing for more than a decade. Paid marketing optimization. How do you use AI to unleash endless variation of your assets for marketing without paying an agency, but just AI can do the work? How do you change your conversation with the agency to use some of those tools? MROI, this is already a science that leverages AI models, okay, to understand where to best spend your marketing dollars. B2B, here we can spend 2 hours talking about how AI can reshape the B2B industry, but if you think about agentic applied to sales activities in the B2B, or if you think about the process creation of a catalog, you can understand how AI can allow you potentially to skip some of the steps in the process, like product shooting. Okay. You have your CADs, and then you can transform in realistic render CADs leveraging AI. Product images and descriptions. I mean, product description, I think, is a no-brainer. You can use AI to speed product description creation for whatever channel you need this for, and just keep the proofreading part of it. Customer care. This is probably one of the most common use cases. We moved it from bot 5 years ago, and now we just leverage agents for a much seamless experience of the consumers. Shopping assistant as well on our website. Those are all commoditized. Whatever product you have for search today might have released in agentic in AI capabilities for recommendation. Forecasting and forecasting and forecasting. This is not a new science. This is just something that now, from a technology standpoint, the advancement that we had allow us to be a lot more precise. There are now models that are called zero-shot models that basically are able to start learning with almost any history in the past. So here is really an area where there is a lot of potential and margins across almost every organization in fashion. Append, as I was saying before, why generative AI is so disruptive, again, in our industry, in the space of creativity, for two reasons. The first one is because it's democratizing the creation of great assets for everyone. So something that was, take example of North Face, I need to go to Patagonia in summer, and not Patagonia by chance, but I need to go to Patagonia in summer because I need to shoot the collection. I might still do this, but then instead of going there multiple times because then I have to create multiple assets, okay, I can use generative AI. And so it's democratizing because it's making really accessible for everyone. And second is because it's opening completely new way of interacting with our customer base. As AI is getting everyone and diffused in our daily life, also our consumer expect to interact with AI. So how do we use AI as a vehicle for emotional connection with our consumers? And so here is really the bet of who will be able to define those new paradigm first will surely have a competitive advantage. The last one, which was the example also, I like a lot the example of bill of material. I think this will also be a little bit of a game changer in our industry. The moment we will be able to really predict, okay, combination of materials and really in how do we embed in the product design and life cycle of our products AI. This is probably something where also, I mean, myself, I've not really been exposed to that as well. So a salad of AI, just to say that there are endless application of AI. AI is really everywhere, it can be everywhere. And there is a place to start for every organization with AI, because some of those things are really easy to implement. Some others are very complex, but technology-wise, the technology is there to enable almost all those use cases. Few example, live. This one, we release, let's see if it works. No, it doesn't work. Should be a video, but what we enable here is an agent for our store associate, where basically we collected more than 400 documents about store procedure, how to, and now every store employee can just say, how do I found a counterfeit note in the till, what should I do? How do I reorder boxes in the back door? Every type of questions. What we have done, we have just simplified the life of employee. We have elevated the working experience of employee. This use case with Copilot, everyone can do, zero code. Second one is reduce case to order ratio. This is the customer care. Again, there is a video, but here we just, where is my order? How do I open a refund? I need to reprint my, see Marco, you're involved into this. I need to reprint my return label. What should I do? This is, again, clear return on investments. We are just deflecting the case to order ratio, and we are improving the experience. So the first one was defend. This one is extend. And the third one is a little bit of an append. What we are now doing is we are starting creating our first campaign directly with AI. This was the Labor Day for Dickies. This is fully generated in AI. We took a bunch of archive material and we animated some of those images. And this one is a collaboration with JCrew, where is fully generated with AI. Still have a few minutes. A little bit of recommendation and tips on the experience that I can witness. What to do? The average the space. Every AI cannot solve everything, okay? And for example, the example of marketing is the area where I really recommend to the average the space. There are areas that for every brand are just untouchable because you need to defend identity, okay? But then there are areas where actually you can leverage already AI today, okay, to save money and reallocate those money in areas that are more important. There are cases where AI should think the level of risk and always vet the risk and understand where is the right moment to play. Buy, don't build. And the reason is because this ecosystem moves so fast, okay, that every time you start building something, you are creating natural technical debt. If you want to build, it's more for experimentation or because it's so much at the core of your value proposition where you really think that your secret sauce can make a difference. Empower. Make everyone onboarded with AI. Don't centralize the activities. Find an incentive for everyone in the organization for using AI. Make AI an operating system. Progression over perfection. Build, test, start small, continue creating, and create across all the different functions those forums and places where people feel they can speak about AI. Create an academy, and the reason why you create an academy is actually more for the leaders than for the employees, because you need to, one, create a framework on how you bring the entire organization. And second, you also need, and we were talking about this before with some of the people I met in the one-to-one. Also, leaders need to change the way they communicate or they expect the different functions to play, operate, and change the working experience themselves as well. Okay, so expose AI to leadership as much as you can. Don't ignore. The largest risk of AI is ignoring AI. Believing that it's something that is going to come or that is just not perfect. This is the worst thing you can do for yourself as professional, as human, but also for your company. Build is the opposite of buy. Centralize is the opposite of empower. Don't make this a technology empowerment. Focus on the transformation element of it. At VF, we have a transformation team that is helping AI to redefine the VF way. Okay? And this is moving the POCs to plateau productivity and move things at the steady state. Don't scare with AI. Okay. Comes with a lot. It seems a lot. Okay. It seems that it's something too big, or that people doesn't know where to start. But hopefully, with what I presented today, everyone feels a little bit better about that. And I think I have 2 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Filippo. Yeah, we have.
Thank you. Hi, Filippo. Thank you for your speech. It was very pragmatic. Appreciate that. I have a question because you didn't share much information about it. Can you share a little bit how you utilize AI with HR department in your company? Because this is what I feel that they are scared the most because of the data and the sensitive stuff.
Yes, so I think that there are different, so HR, I would say at VF, AI is one of the 5 priorities, so everyone needs to run with AI. Again, I think you need to average the space as well, as I was saying, also in HR. So there are areas such as creating agents to answer to the employees, okay, much faster, how many days of holiday still have, what is the policy for this and that. Okay, so this is absolutely something you can start with. There are areas that are more complex, like interviews, okay, but creation of databases for CVs, okay, initial review of all the CVs. Yeah. Those are things that are pretty easy to do with AI, okay, where basically you can really pivot massive, and again you can average the space. If you have to do, in our industry we do a lot of interviews for pickers or people that need to do a lot of hard works, and we have a lot of rotation. We have a lot of rotation. The skill set are more standardized. In that case, it's a safer space to play. I don't know if I answered to your question, but there are, for compensation and benefit, I mean, there are different areas where AI is a safe place to start, and there are others that are more risky. Start with the easy one, and then you can move to the others.
Perfect, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I have curiosity more than a question. You talk about a lot of applications, possible application of AI in your industry, but I think I missed, what do you think about 2 keywords of fashion industry nowadays, considering the issues we are seeing in supply chain and also the evolving regulations, especially in Europe. And so the 2 keywords are transparency and traceability. And I think AI could be a key in this direction. Do you think the same, or are you moving in this direction?
I mean, the first one from a traceability for sure, but also from forecasting standpoint in supply chain, one of the core use cases is about inventory optimization. Okay, so transparency on how you. I don't think it's probably transparency, but how you take also responsibility Okay, environmental impact. And here AI is there to play because at the end of the day, what you're doing, you're just improving your forecast. And so you're reducing every type of waste. From a I think this would be my answer. Traceability, I think today, traceability is already an established technology. I mean, if you're talking about RFID, okay, this is already standard in the market. I think that AI can just amplify, okay, the way you can expose this information or the type of insights that you can get, okay, based on those
I was
technologies.
thinking about the quality of the data in an RFID or whatever device. I mean, from the origin, from the source or raw material till the very end. I think today it's quite tricky to really know piece by piece the real traceability. We're thinking about lots or average, but it's not that easy
No,
to
I
go
don't. Yes, this is
into
an area
details.
actually. I'm not. I don't. I would need to ask her because it's not an area where I've been potentially directly exposed. For sure, from the RFID, is from there on, AI helps a lot the visibility, okay, that you can get out of it. Sure.
We have time for one more. One.
No? All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Filippo. Okay, so now a round of applause to welcome Giacomo from Philip Plain for his first speech.
After Filippo and Marco, it's like a coffee break for you guys. Okay, I'm Giacomo. I'm working in Philip Plain as head of IT. I'm pretty focused on the application layer and the integration of the system. Philip Plain is a small fashion company. It's not like a big monster as a WF. So we have difference in terms of humans, human power and the budget, of course. But who knows us knows that we are always searching a way to, considering the human power that we have, to be smarter in what we do. And AI for sure is a way for us to improve the way we work. Okay, let's go. Okay, this is scary, yeah, because the first slide is the same slide that also Marco had, but I see from a different point of view. 95% of pilots are failing. And there are reasons for that, and we are trying to avoid, of course, these issues. Basically, the biggest problem is that the people is not involved, as also Filippo said, that we have to involve all the employees. We don't have at the end the pilot really interfacing with the system that are used by the people in the company. And sometimes we overestimate the output of this solution. So maybe we think that everything will be done by AI, but it's not like this. So keeping this in mind, we try to let's say to go on with AI and introducing AI in our company, considering that we are doing since I would say less than 1 year. We have another big point here. AI winter is coming. Winter is coming is also a topic that is now on the paper. This is an article in Bloomberg, September 2025. What does it mean? It means that this AI is going to an end. No, basically it's something completely different. Now, as also Marco said, we have some kind of bubble, you know, and where we got a lot of investment, and many of them didn't return. So, and the problem that there are over expectation about the AI and the results. So this will lead to a more, I would say, specific use of AI and a better understanding of what AI can do, as you said before. This is another interesting paper from OpenAI that is really recent, and is just mentioning why language models are hallucinating so much at the moment. And OpenAI itself is telling that the problem is that the language model have not been trained to say, no, I don't know what to say, okay? So they will always try to find an answer to everything, and sometimes it doesn't work. And that's why, as Mark said before, we have to be really careful. And OpenAI itself said that basically what they are doing at this time is to train also and make the models, let's say, more confident to say, okay, this I cannot say. Okay, this is also another part that is really interesting, what Marcus Kuban said. At the moment, that is also one of the problems that leads to 95% of failure for this project. Companies does not really understand how to implement AI right now because there are overestimation, in my opinion, and also because there is no change management in the companies. As also Filippo said, basically we need to have the as you call no, you call the masters. No, the masters of each department. The champions, exactly. We need to have champions in the company, otherwise nothing we can do. Okay, and this is another nice thing that okay, we are not going to lose our jobs, but AI is exactly giving us many opportunities, because basically what we have and especially the new generation has to do has to focus on how to teach the companies and the people all like me how to use AI proficiently in the companies. Okay. Having said that, we are going to our approach to AI. Of course, we don't have big budgets. We don't have big teams behind of engineers. So we are trying to do with what we have, but it's a lot. Our company is basically based on Microsoft technology, so the idea of using Copilot was pretty, let's say, easy and fast. So what we said is, okay, now we have this big possibility with AI. What we can do to improve the way we work. So we identified our pain points. So we try to identify the most time-consuming operation that every day all the employees are facing. Okay, and we said, okay, let's start with what? We decided to start with agents, and with a small one, just to, okay, see the reaction of the employee, see if it's really returning something interesting as a result. We decided to keep humans in the loop, as we said, not to create, a division between the AI and the person. So just to keep everyone connected. We decide, of course, not to develop anything in-house and do with what we have. That is a lot, because really, with really no code, you can do a lot of things. This is a very important point, because if we create something that is not integrated with what we have right now, is basically not existing, so nobody will use it. Then, as soon as we have our agent, our product, okay, we need to measure and iterate in case we see that something is not correct. So at the end, we need also an agent that provide data that can be measured, okay, for sure. And of course, one of these is work less, work better. Because we work a lot, so we try to work a little less. Okay, of course, I mean, we have, of course, we need to make money in our company, and so we need to focus on our customer every time. So if we don't have customer, we don't have money. So we started from a small project that can, at the end, be also a benefit or plus for our customer. Okay. As we said, driving awareness and loyalty. Okay, and we are very strong in the digital ecosystem. Consider that half of our turnover is done in the online business. So it's pretty the half. So it's a channel that is very, very important for us. Sorry, I cannot go back. Okay. Okay. So we decided to start with this. We decided to take care of the way we manage the returns and improve the way we analyze our returns. Consider that each brand has this kind of range of returns, 20 and 30. That is pretty good. I also work in a brand that has 10%, 12% return, but it was some kind of excellence in fashion. But we have cases where, for example, in some marketplaces, we have 50% of returns. So half of the items are returned. So what does it mean for us? It's a cost. It's, of course, a lot of work. And each return is some kind of customer request, okay? So the customer expects to receive a service, a very good service. Okay, this is what we say. And okay, when you return something that you bought, of course, you are expecting, of course, to be refunded as soon as possible. You don't want us to be your bank. So we want your money back. So we need to have this return flow as fast as possible, okay, in order to avoid customer dissatisfaction. Then we had the, I mean, we can stay here for 1 hour to discuss the risk that we have with the returns. For example, we received returns from other brands. We received bricks inside the box instead of the garments. We received everything. So, I mean, the fraud is everywhere. And of course, we have, of course, as we said, managing all these returns is a huge workflow and workload on the customer service department. What are the challenges to speed up the process? Basically, we inspect every return that we receive in order to, of course, to accept it, okay? Before accepting each return, we inspect it. And sometimes we request from our customer to receive images of this return in order to match what is in the box with the return that we received and the condition of the garments. So what we decided to do is to start with the image analysis. That is, at the end, is the, you know, the most natural approach. So we decided we have a platform where we collect all our returns. We collect all the images that we receive. Usually, our claim department should open each return, check each image, give some kind of rate to this image, accept or don't accept this image, and so on. We have also return scrumming in the stores. So people in the store needs to upload the image of the return to the claim department. So it's huge work everywhere. So we decided to create an agent, very easy one, that analyze the images and give us a feedback about the status of the goods returned. Yes, we said the customer uploads the images in our platform. That is our e-commerce platform. We receive the images, and our agent analyze the image. We auto-approve now, but this was not in the beginning. We just checked what the output of the agent, but now we are in auto-approve for simple cases that are almost 80% of the returns that we have, and we have of course the exception that are reviewed basically by the human, so by the employee. Okay. I had also a video, or in my idea there was a demo, but not a problem. I mean, this is a very, I simplified just a little bit, but this is how you create an agent in Copilot, and it's super easy. There is nothing that you have to do except drag and drop your components, okay? So basically, here I'm asking the agent to. It's just a little bit simplified because we cut some connection between other systems, but we receive the image here. The AI agent is analyzing the image, is also taking some additional information about the SKU and the return number. And then we go here and we receive a notification that is sent also to our RMS, return management system, and to our customer service application for enriching the return information, and we give here some kind of points between 0 and 1, and as soon as we have I don't know, 0.5, okay, we have to control the image and so on. If we have more than 0.5, we see that we can go, okay, so nothing to check anymore. Of course, this is also connected, as we said, to the customer service platform and to our return management system platform. What can be the next step? Be connected here to the payment provider platform to refund the customer immediately, but probably I will be fired as soon as I do something like this. I mean, okay, the refund will never be automatized, I think. What we can do, okay, what we get, sorry. We automatize checks and repetitive jobs that are really boring. The customer service that is like this with cases every day can focus and can focus on the real important cases and get the important information about the image from our agent. So now we are we have a better productivity, let's say, and accuracy. Okay, and it's really a lot. Of course, we get something also for our customer. We are faster in refunding, so the customer is happy, of course. We have a more transparent return process and decision making. And now we are trying exactly this to have more consistent and fair decision, basically iterating and try to find where we made mistakes in the past, and we are getting better every day on this. So these are some numbers that I mean, this is like this. Okay, I made a mistake, but okay, this is 30% less in processing time of the return. These numbers are real, so it's not something invented. So it's really a lot, because 30% is a game changer. We have an error rate in managing the images, 80%, sorry, this was my mistake. And we have fraud losses decreased by 20%. And I think that this can be also higher because sometimes we don't recognize the fraud. Of course, we have, as we said, we are getting better in managing and our operation. We are enhancing our customer satisfaction for sure. And of course, we are giving, especially now that we are present in more than 25 digital channels that are also demanding. We are better also in this. Where do we want to go? I don't know. But we can have different steps starting from this. For sure now we have a big project that is for us really important. The way we reallocate the goods in our store. Actually, I mean, it's crazy. We are in 2025, but it's done manually in our company. So for sure we want to focus on this in order to speed up and make it better. But except for this agent, we want to integrate with the logistic partners. We would like to have also smart routing based on the images and so on. Smart routing through our customer service assistant. And this is some kind of dream we should work on. But at the end is the goal, no? So, okay, we are saving here because we are reducing the time, we are managing the returns. But what if we can use those data to create predictive analytics to reduce the returns in advance? Okay. I mean, this is also not easy to do because, for example, we have countries where, in Germany, for example, the return rate is crazy just because of the habits of the customers, no? That they buy two pieces and they try one and they return the other one in two different sizes. For example, in Russia, we have also there 50% of returns just because they want to try everything on and then they return and they just keep one. So it just depends also on the customer behavior in each country, but I think that this can be a game changer. So use those data, collect all the data, use those data to reduce the returns in the future. Yes, so basically, yes, as I said, is an opportunity for us. No? So AI opened an opportunity for us, just thinking about what we can do to improve the way we work. And this is a clear example how a huge cost center as return and return management became an opportunity for us to make our customer more engaged in our business and make them happy. So to create also a better connection with them. So at the end, AI opened also this opportunity for us. That's it.
Thank you. We are running a little bit late, but we have time for one question for Giacomo. Anyone from the audience? No one? Thank you, Giacomo. It's time to move to the fourth and last speaker, Luca from Bestseller.
Right, so hi everybody, and thank you for that, Ralph, for inviting me. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we're seeing AI being applied in our wholesale part of the business. But I'm not sure how many of you here knows what Bestseller is. Raise your hands. Of course, we talked earlier, so that's a little bit cheating. But of course, not a lot of people knows here, and that's kind of normal because we're mostly known through our brands, not really as Bestseller. So a little bit of history about that, and then we're going to get into the case study. So Bestseller is a company that was founded in 1975 in rural Denmark, a really small town called Ringkøbing, by Merete and Troels Poulsen. It started off as a classic small fashion shop. Then it started to build and grow exponentially up until went over Scandinavia, built more brands into it, and nowadays it's just like a worldwide corporation. Nowadays, the company is led by their son, Anders, who entered Bestseller first as the brand director of Vila, one of the Bestseller brands, and now he's taking over the role as the CEO. So just a few numbers to show you the dimension of the company. We have 2,800 branded retail stores across 75 markets, and we're 22,000 colleagues across the world, and we also cooperate with 16,000 multi-brands of department store in our B2B or wholesale business. So lastly, we have here all of our brands, so maybe now you recognize some of them, perhaps Jack & Jill and some of the Vermo that normally are the most recognizable ones. But yeah, these are the 20 main brands, and every once in a while we'll get a new one in. We just launched one recently called Balmo, which is not in here because it's still tiny, but these are the main ones. Last thing, financially, we're a company that is averaging roughly a little bit short of 5 billion in net turnover. So today, what I'm going to be focusing on is the B2B part of the business, specifically how we see AI revolutionizing the way we do customer meetings, where we're selling collections to our customers. Because this is the part of the business where I'm in, because I am, as the Digital Sales Innovation Manager for the Italian branch, I'm heavily involved with our B2B platform, e-commerce, or it could be the digital showroom, which you can see in the picture right there. So, quick agenda. I'm going to talk you through about our current workflow of our wholesale customer meetings and outline the challenge that we have at the moment and how we see AI being the solution. And we like to say that AI can be sort of a superpower. And because it's a project, and hopefully we're under 5% of the pilot succeeding, we created an MVP to hopefully go from the theory of the first 3 points into practice. So to help you kind of like visualize what we're trying to build. And then at the end, of course, we're going to take a look at some key takeaways. So right now in Bestseller, if I am one of the sales reps, regardless of the brand, and I'm about to sell our collections to our customers, I need to go through this workflow. Starting from this area right here where I have to do some analysis on the customer I'm about to serve, and specifically I have 3 pillars. First one being Bestseller data. That essentially is how has the customer bought this collection last year. So not only in terms of the value, but also in terms of the style distribution, how many categories, how many styles in each category, and so on. Then also how is the customer performing in the current season. And stepping a little bit outside of the customer, we also have to look at how our styles are performing in the current collection, because obviously I don't want to propose some styles that are at risk of getting cut out because they're not reaching minimum orders of productivity. Then the second pillar is customer data. And that oftentimes is just referred to as the sellout figures. And when we have our more structured customers, we're able to get them directly into our BI systems. But specifically in Italy, we have a lot of small customers that are not so structured. So the sales rep has to go and retrieve them. And of course, then I need to, as a sales rep, I will need to match the sell-in with the sell-out, just so we can arrange a little bit the order this collection this year. Then the last pillar is not so analytical, it's more commercial, so we need to focus on the trends in fashion, obviously, but specifically the trends that the brands wants to focus on. And when I've done this, I have a complete both analytical and commercial analysis of the customer situation right now, and then I need to merge it with what we call our local DSR template, with DSR being acronym for digital showroom. And there are many different definitions of digital showroom in the industry, so I just want to take you very briefly, quickly through our digital showroom to help you visualize it. So On the left-hand side, we have boards. This is a way of how we can show our model shots, and we can obviously interact with them, see what the model is wearing, get into the PDP, get all the information. And I'm also able to utilize this tool as a more of a shop the look, so it's a bit more rigid structure where I can put the model shots and the styles that she's wearing. Or I can show one style in a different color variation the way. So I think like earlier there was, yeah, that one. So I have the green, black, and white. So that's very simple to put in that way. Whereas we have the merge floor on the right-hand side, which is our take on how to digitalize something that traditionally would happen in showroom when we would sell collections, which is the buyer, sales rep, taking the physical samples, putting them on the floor, and use the floor as a visual merchandising board. They would just go around, take some styles out, whatever the case might be, and then the buyer most likely would take a picture, get home, and then when would they receive the styles, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months later in time, they would know how to merchandise them in the store, online or offline. Now, in bestseller, we're trying to cut down as much as we can the physical samples. So obviously, we're trying to digitalize this this way of working. So getting back into the process, now I need to take that local DSR template, which of course is going to take the entire selection for the Italian market, in my case, for instance. And with the analysis that we've done beforehand, I have to make some adjustments. So if from the analysis I've seen that the customer didn't really sell well on tailoring, I'm going to remove the mood board or the merge floor for tailoring. Or if I know that the customer is really buying or selling well the yellow variant, I'm going to change all of the black variants because they didn't perform well into yellow, and so on and so forth. When I've done so, then I have a personalized digital showroom collection presentation that's tailored to the customer that I'm serving. Now, that's best case scenario. Obviously, we're able to do this with our key accounts, but as I said, in Italy, we have a lot of small stores. So in order to achieve our targets in terms of turnover, we need to serve a lot of small customers. And sales reps don't have the time to do so. So that is the challenge area that we have. So what happens is, if I'm a sales rep, I'm just going to boil all of this down into just a quick customer historical data analysis, which is not enough for me to change and do the modifications that we said about the local DSR template. So I no longer have a personalized presentation. I just have a general collection presentation for the Italian market, which is not really tailored to the customer that I'm about to serve. So what we see it happening is that we're losing turnover because of this. And what do we do in sales when we're losing turnover in a collection? We're very quick in pointing the fingers at the design team. The collection was not good enough. The fabrics were not good. The fittings were not really matching the needs of the market. But actually, if we look a little bit underneath the surface, and we take also a good hard look in the mirror, we're seeing that we have provided our customers with a really untailored experience. Because what happens is that I don't really know what I need to sell to you, so I'm just going to end up showing a lot of styles, hoping for the customer to say yes to that. So I'm showing a much extended range than what I should be showing, and then I have a longer customer meeting. And when the customer meeting gets long, I lose the control. And when I'm losing control, then I'm so focused on trying to get enough yes to get to my budget that I might risk of forgetting to push some specific styles or outfits that, if I did my homeworks right, I would know that that is the fashion trend that the brand wants to follow. So in bestseller, we asked ourselves, okay, how can AI help us solving this challenge? And our vision essentially was, why don't we let AI do the heavy lifting? Why don't we let AI do the prep, and we let the sales rep do what they're best at, selling? So we partnered with our supplier of the digital showroom, TouchDeck, and we created a pilot that we're currently testing in the current months that is able to listen to a speech prompt, is then able to take in a lot of different data sets from our different Power BI, ERP system, PIM system, whatever the case might be, and the output would be to generate a tailored digital showroom presentation, not only in the commercial side of things, but also being data-driven. So now I have a video that I hope will go, that essentially will hopefully take all of what I've said into fruition. And you will see the creative director of TouchDeck posing as a sales rep, interacting with the tool.
Hey, DSR.
Good morning, Stefan. Ready for a productive and fun day of selling?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
Great. Today's first meeting is with Robert Smith, a buyer at Brothers. I've already prepared relevant insights for you. Should we proceed to create a proposal for the autumn-winter collection?
Absolutely. I remember I had a call with them just the other day, and They mentioned that their business is going really well, so that's good to hear. I would say let's start by having a look at their last year's orders. Can you bring them up?
Certainly. Last year, Robert placed a pre-order of 20 styles with a total of 347 items, representing 13,100 euros for the autumn-winter collection. This is a summarized breakdown categorized for clarity.
Thanks. And can you also show me the actual styles?
Sure thing.
All right. And I remember they also sent us their sellout data, actually. Can you bring that up as well?
I've analyzed the Excel Robert sent and extracted sellout statistics organized by both category and individual style. Here's the overview.
Awesome. I think we pretty much nailed it then last year. I think that also means we can probably add a bit more extra this year, so I guess 10, 15%, something like that. Do they have anything incoming right now?
Looking at previous order data, yes, Robert currently has an incoming order consisting of 7 styles totaling 1,900 euros, scheduled for delivery in September 2025.
All right. Of course, we need to keep those in mind then. Speaking of which, is there anything else I shall have in mind?
Looking through my notes from previous meetings, Robert strongly favors a blend of commercial appeal, good margins, and contemporary elegance without overly trendy elements. He also mentioned his customers in northern UK predominantly prefer earthy tones and outfit-driven purchasing. Robert specifically dislikes graphic or large prints.
Now I'm wondering, we have this global strategy that we always want to promote, especially the focus items and the best performing styles. Can you show me which of those would fit Robert?
Based on Robert's documented preferences, these highlighted global key styles would be an ideal alignment for his store.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense. Then let's have those in mind. Great. I think we're pretty much set then. So I would like you to set up a draft basket to get started.
Here's the complete autumn-winter collection. I'll start by grouping them by category. As a first step, I will filter out styles that do not meet Robert's preferences and past purchase history. Furthermore, considering the incoming orders, I'll exclude any overly similar items. Aiming for approximately 26 styles would match your indicated 15% increase. Do you agree with targeting this number?
Yeah, sounds about right. And then, as I said, keep in mind especially the key items and the best performing ones, so that we push those.
Understood. Here's a carefully curated selection of 26 styles. How do you feel about these items?
Looks good, I think. Yeah, I think he likes that one. Let's see. Maybe this one here is a bit too plain, I would say. Do you have any alternatives?
Certainly. Here are several alternative sweatshirt styles aligned closely with Robert's preferences.
Yeah, I think here definitely we should go for this one.
Understood. Good decision. Would you like to adjust anything further? Or shall we create the proposal complete with quantities?
I think this looks pretty good. So yeah, please go ahead and suggest some quantities for him.
Here is the completed basket proposal totaling around 15,500 euros, reflecting approximately a 15% increase from last year. I've also recommended color assortments for each style. Would you like any modifications?
No, I think that's pretty much on spot. Then, of course, for Robert, it's usually very important that he can visually see very clearly how he can merchandise these things and also which kind of outfits he can create. So out of this basket, can you create me a presentation that's a bit more visual?
Absolutely. To support your storytelling and boost merchandising effectiveness, I suggest we create 5 thoughtfully curated outfit concepts.
Awesome. That one already looks pretty nice. I always love the titles you come up with. Casual Confidence, Commercial Winners. Yeah, I'm sure he likes that one. Let's see. Trend Conscious Commercial. I mean, the colors, yeah, exactly. That's what he likes as well. Here I'm wondering, can you tell me maybe some pointers of how I can promote this one especially?
Certainly. The cornerstone style here is the sleek dark denim jeans, a proven bestseller offering strong versatility. Paired effectively with the heavy knit and overshirt, ideal commercial styles at attractive price points. This combination delivers authenticity and enduring appeal. The inclusion of the premium leather jacket touch adds subtle trend awareness. Lastly, this outfit's selected earthy color palette aligns closely with Robert's historically strong sellers.
Great, thank you.
Right. So this is, of course, what we are currently testing right now. And, you know, as some of the speakers said before, we're not building something completely new. We're just adding on top of what we currently have. And we're letting our partner do this. This is that are way better than us at working with AI specifically. So we're already seeing lots of benefits, and I've just summarized them right here, just the top 4. Starting from above, we have moving away from the opt-in to opt-out strategy, meaning, as I said before, if I didn't have the time to do the analysis, I would just show a larger collection open for the customers to opt in. Now I can present visually and merchandise sets of the collection, and also psychologically we've seen it's a little bit tough for the customer to opt out of some styles. For instance, if he would get out of the jacket, then it would kind of like make the entire merchandising of that specific focus crumble. Then we're also tailoring not only an order proposal that's tailored, but also the customer experience. What we're seeing right now with the feedback from the sales that have been trying this is that the customers are actually perceiving us as a much better partner for their business, because it's so tailored to what their needs are, and everything's sort of like ready-made. It's not a long meeting, it's an easy decision. So it's also putting us in a much better position as partners for them. Then obviously, if you look into the sales rep, they have higher efficiency and effectiveness. And last but certainly not least, they're able to save a lot of time in sales operations. Specifically, if we look at the time spent on preparing for collections, we can see that we are cutting down by 60 to 70%. And that time can be invested in prospecting, finding new customers, or developing current ones that we are serving. So while thanking you for the time, I mean, and of course, the end result is that we're seeing a growth of turnover. And while thanking you for the time today, just wanted to end, and I really agree with what was said earlier. It's not that AI is here to take over the sales rep job; it's here to elevate it, give it superpowers, as we say. And in specific time, it should help the sales rep focus on what they're best at: selling, storytelling, and developing customer relationships. Thank you very much.
So we have time for...
Sorry, the QR code, I think it might be expired, so it's just my LinkedIn profile.
Any questions from the audience?
I would have a question, if possible. Luca, just about the video that you showed, can you give us an idea of, because it looks like a dreamy situation having that kind of software. I guess that you are not at the end of it, no? So
correct.
So how much is the effort to have that software in terms of whatever you like, time, effort, money, whatever?
Yeah, so what we are currently doing right now, well, the base of the software is already there, and our digital showroom was built more as like show and not sell. Now it was drastically changed from 2021 to be show and sell. So that already helped us to put the foundations. Right now, we're doing all of this kind of like work. We're effectively testing it not with the correct system like this, because as you said, it's not fully built yet. But I would say timing-wise, probably 6 months, let's say a year maximum.
We know many people working on that.
It's Hashtag. I think they are, the entire company that they have is 30, 35 people. But to tell you the truth, I would have to ask the CEO to know how many people are just dedicated for that. But like us internally, we have people like me, for instance, that we're running some tests with. For instance, I've just ran a test with Veromora to apply this sort of tool. Of course, it's still semi-automatic because right now we don't have the speech prompt ready-made, but you just feed it some information, it gives you the answers back. So you still need to do some work. And also, like, as you've seen, you know, the AI suggested was a sweatshirt that was not really fitting the customer. So the sales rep cannot just unplug the brain and be like, okay, cool, autopilot. They still need to put some effort into it. The key here is that we're trying to somehow take all of the data points they need to look into, fit it into a system that gives them some answers. Then we're going to get to build the nice, shiny tool that we have in the video that we're trying to achieve.
It's beautiful. Congrats.
Thank you.
Some more?
Hi, hello, Luca. This is Silvia. Just out of curiosity, are you also thinking about making it a product that you might also propose to other companies like yours? I mean, is this one of the things that you have in mind?
Well, it's a good question. To tell you the truth, it's not owned by Bestseller. It's owned by our partner that's called TouchDeck. So we are, I would probably say, that the biggest customer they have. So like the digital showroom was built essentially shaping it to what we needed it to be. To be honest, they started 18 years ago by producing touchscreen tables for airports. So you would go to bars and airports and you would order drinks. And now they're doing digital showroom. So it's something that we help them shape. So
it is meant to be
absolutely, yeah. I would not be surprised if this then gets, you know, commercialized, because this video that, you know, I was allowed to show to everybody is because Dennis, the CEO, showed it to the audience at Pi Apparel. So it's live. You're welcome to reach out to Dennis or to TouchDeck, or I can help you with that. No problem.
No, it was a curiosity. Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we got to the end of the training. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all the four speakers for the amazing insights they brought us. And we have another training taking place here on December the 2nd. It will be regarding sustainability, so make sure to register.